With Dre beats on this album, does that open up the door for you to basically possibly come on the Detox album?
I mean, I ain't even really think about it like that because, my thing is, really to just have Dre involved with it, if you really notice, Dre don't really put anybody on his tracks, you know what I mean? He stick to his own crew or whatever, so, he was a big fan of my movement. He heard the album, he was like, yo, I want to be a part of this shit. So that was the main focus. I wasn't really thinking about whatever he doing.
Which is why I asked, because he does seem to pick a team.
Yeah, he's the type of dude he only fuck with his. I mean, when you think about through the years how many people could say they have a Dre beat is rare, you know what I mean? So I guess that, he really respect what we did, and I respect him for what he did because he's the OG. He was in it before me, you know what I mean? But he was just excited with the album. He heard it, he had to hear it first. You know what I mean? You know how some dudes is, they want to hear what you're working with before they actually agree to get down with you, you know what I mean? So that's what it was, you know what I mean? I wasn't really thinking about nothing else but seeing if he was willing to get on the album. You can't make a motherfucker do something he don't want to do. And I already knew what kind of dude he is, you know what I mean? But once he heard the album, he wanted to be a part of it.
Well, his beats actually fit straight in with the album. It's like they don't,
Yeah, it didn't go the other way, right? Yeah. I mean, like I said, I listened to a few of his beats. Like Dre actually gave me like around 4 or 5 beats to work with, and I picked out the ones where I felt was more comfortable to me. You know what I mean? And we did what we had to do.
You got 20 plus tracks on this album. Like nowadays, the market is if you got 13 tracks, that's an album. So you got 20, 23, 24 tracks.
Yeah.
How important was it for you to put a full album out there?
I think it began to be so much shit because it's like the time. You know what I mean? Like y'all said, it was a long time. So while it being a long time, I was definitely stacking up my lumber, like, you know what I mean? And all the shit that I like is the shit that I've been working on through the years. I didn't know it was going to be an overflow. I felt like certain tracks needed to be on there. I felt like certain producers I respected like that needed to be up there. So when it was time to really go through the whole album, it was like, yo, you got mad shit. And you only get paid for 11 tracks, you know what I mean? But I wanted to give everybody something extra, just to let everybody know that, yo, man, I'm a man of my word. If I'm going to give you something, I'm going to give you a full plate, we barely get albums nowadays that have so much to offer on it. So I wanted to make sure that, I full y'all up, you know what I mean? And that right there was kind of like scary too, because it was like a lot of my dudes, they was like, yo, make it nice and chunky, make it, you know what I mean, nice. And I'm like, man, I want to give dudes an album, you know what I mean, like a real album. Like how long has it been since we got an album that we could at least hear 10 to 12 tracks that's hot? We ain't been getting that no more, you know what I mean? So I just, the music is for the people, man, you know what I mean? And that's my way of giving back because of the distance, the time of it, you know what I mean?
Well, we thank you for it, thank you.
No doubt, brother, thank you, man.
Chef, a lot of new artists, not new artists, I beg your pardon, like a lot of even classic artists are putting out records, namely people like RZA and them only moving 3,000 units in the first week, and then you've got people like Jada that take the streets by storm and move 141 in the first week. What are your expectations for record sales for this record?
I mean, I don't even really give a fuck about all the record sales shit, you know what I mean? I done already proved my mark already, you know? This album was done prestigiously. It wasn't done based on the sales content. I mean, if it do 10 million, I'm happy. I'm gonna still be the same Ray, you know what I mean? If it do 10,000, hey, that's what it is, you know what I mean? At least I know I gave dudes a solid album, you know what I mean? Like, really, I think that the sales side of it is really getting out of control with the fans, because now fans ain't fans no more. They critics now. Now they do more now. Like, how much he sold? Like, you know what I mean? When we's coming up, none of that shit meant anything. It's like, you know what I mean? It was just all about the music. So really, it don't matter to me what it sell. You know what I mean? I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna go on the road. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna come through y'all cities. Y'all, you know what I mean? The promoters is gonna hit me. And at the end of the day, it's just about giving y'all a good album. It ain't about so much the sales. I just think that shit is corny. That shit is rigged up too. You know what I mean? Don't believe the hype. You know what I mean? You know, motherfuckers be having a little label connections with the retailers in their own little way. You know, this whole shit is crooked like the government. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the type of shit that be going on, you know what I mean? But my thing is I didn't care about none of that. All I cared about is being an MC, giving y'all something that I felt y'all could stick in and don't have to touch the CD no more.
Right, when you came down to the UK last time, we were talking about developing a vibe for this album, and it's all about is feeling this vibe. When did you first get the concept for that? Was it during part one, and how much has it changed since then?
Changed a lot, man, because, you know, like I said, once I changed my lifestyle, you know what I mean, it's like I started to feel like I had more to offer outside of just talking about drugs, you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, some rappers, they get stuck in one zone, you know what I mean? And I try to, you know, my name is the chef, and when you break down what a chef is, he gonna always give you multiple dishes. So I guess that name really fitted a nigga, you know what I mean? I always was trying to do something different, whether I talk about a painting or whether I talk about the streets. I always try to be versatile. But this album, like I said, this album is a collector's item for all the dudes that really rep me from the door, you know what I mean? Like I said, when we first made this album, the first one only built, it was straight for drug dealers, convicts, criminals, knuckleheads, lifers, you know what I mean? Scarface niggas, jail niggas, you know what I mean? That's what the first album was made for. But as I got in the game, you know what I mean, and started seeing how young the fans were and how women was naming their kids after me, I felt like I had a job to do. I had a job to do. Like, it's like, yo, you come and see someone, yo, I named my baby after you. You know what I mean? It's like, you name your baby after me. So even when I go back to work, it's like, damn, I can't keep talking about drugs and, you know what I mean? People naming their children after me, so I have to have some kind of responsibility. Like, I'm a conscious man when it comes to thinking about kids and all that, you know what I mean? Some shit you can't hide from them, but, you know, at the same time, we still got to sit there and watch everything we say and we do to them, you know what I mean, to make them understand this music. So I try to come sometimes different. That's why you'll see me drop something on a Mobilarity where I talk about, you know, how important it is to love your moms, you know what I mean? I see a lot of these kids nowadays don't even respect their fucking moms, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, that's some sucker shit, get away from me, you know what I mean? You don't got no respect for your moms or your family, you know what I mean? I don't got no respect for you, you know what I mean? So I try to go conscious ways with it, you know what I mean? So people could listen to where I came from and at the same time know that, yo, at least he's switching it. You hear a lot of motherfuckers talking about switching their shit to like doing some positive shit, but you don't never hear these records. You always hear the consistent talking about drugs, guns, cars, you know, all that rubbish bullshit or whatever. You know what I mean? I wanted to go conscious a little bit and talk about positive things so, you know, kids will know that, yo, man, maybe I see where he went with that, so maybe I could try something different.